Hey guys, my name's Alanna and I love hate Hallmark movies. They're bad movies and yet I can't stop watching them. Grab a seat and get cozy. Today I'm recapping the 2015 movie All of My Heart. I know not everybody who watches these recaps actually watches Hallmark movies. I know some of you guys just love bad movies and God bless ya, me too. For those who are actually familiar with the Hallmark cinematic universe, we have two heavy hitters in this one. That of course is Lacey Chabert. I always say Chabert. Real sorry. Our girl Lacey is like the queen of Hallmark movies. She's in literally a million of them. And her love interest in this one is Brendan Elliott. He, I would say, is like the male equivalent of Lacey. He's in a million Hallmark movies. And you're gonna see why these two actors get so much work. But the plot of All of My Heart centers around a house. And it is so absurd and I love it. We start off in a professional kitchen and see some hands expertly chop things. We don't get to see our girl Lacey do it, although it's implied that this person is her. We do, however, get to see her stirring. That's more like it. She gets yelled at by the head chef because she's changing the flavors of these recipes and he's like yelling at her for doing that, which fair? Like, you're in a professional kitchen, you can't just like do whatever you want. But my God, that is a lot of makeup in a professional kitchen. I hope it's sweat proof. Later we see them serving guests. It's like a catering company and they're like catering for this fancy party. And the bitch host woman comes over and we learn that she went to school with Lacey. She's quizzing Lacey about her life and it's here we learn that Lacey's dream is to open a restaurant and we learn that she does have a boyfriend.
Well, are you married?
Not yet, but I have a wonderful boyfriend, Daryl. We're practically engaged.
I'm sure he's gonna propose any day now.
Well, what's the holdup? Nothing says commitment like Tiffany's.
Girly, that ring is too big. Get that shit resized. We jump to a fancy restaurant and Lacey is wearing this sexy little dress. Love it. And she's with the boyfriend who is, in my opinion, not a looks match. But he says that he has this big announcement and we're all like, ooh, is it gonna be that long awaited proposal? Of course not.
I got a new job. Gentrotech, they're this really hot new biotech company and they're going global. They're sending me to Singapore next week. I can't even believe it.
Neither can I.
And then Stockholm, Madrid, everywhere I've always wanted to go.
Say what you want about Lacey, she is so good at filling her eyes up with tears. I want to say she does it in every movie. I mean, she's a professional now. She's in like 50 Hallmark movies and she does it in every single one. He says that he loves her. She says like, we obviously want different things. They're basically like slowly breaking up, I guess, at this dinner. But rather than leaving, she says, because her new dress was really expensive, she's going to order the lobster. I can only imagine how the rest of the dinner went, like what that conversation would have been like. But you know what? Fair play. Back at her like house slash apartment slash unsure, Lacey gets a call from this random man who's like, surprise, you inherited a house from a distant relative that you don't know. Please come to Pennsylvania to learn more about it. Girly, this is a scam. You are about to be trafficked. But also crazy eye makeup for her to just be like hanging out in her house. Lacey is known for the makeup. She's known for the smoky eye. I think it's in her contract because it's in literally every Hallmark movie. But I can only imagine like what her skin must be like to just like, she's always in so much makeup. Anyway, she has no fear of this mystery man, so she drives to Pennsylvania to meet with him. He explains that the house in question was actually left to two people. How unusual. And here enters the second new owner.
You two are not related to each other, but you each own half the house.
I love how it's like, you're not related. Who felt the need to like say that? Obviously that's for our benefit, just to make sure, you know, in case you were wondering, because otherwise the rest of this movie is illegal.
We can split the profits. I mean, what's the property worth and how quickly can we sell?
I have no intention of selling my home. I want to keep the house.
Can't sell half a house.
Also, Lacey is adamant that she does not want to sell the house. She wants to live in the house. But guess what? Girlie has never been to the house. Girlie's never been to Pennsylvania. She's never been to the town where the house is, but she is sure that she wants to live there. Even though she could sell the house like this man wants to do, and with the profit, she could open up her own restaurant, you know, like her dream, but how quickly that is forgotten. Since Brian took a train to the meeting, he doesn't have his car, and he's very busy businessman, Lacey says that she'll drive them both over to the house. We get annoying banter here in the car. We're laying the foundation because this has to be an enemies to lovers, right? So we're learning that they are total opposites, that they don't like each other, yada, you know the usual. But we do get this random old man that Lacey asks for directions.
How do I get to Maple Lane?
It's 2 miles due east of here.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You let your wife do the driving?
Oh, no, we're not married.
Too bad for you.
Okay, horny old man, it's not even 10 a.m. They pull up outside the house and pause. I am screaming. I'm probably the only one that cares about this, but just give me a second. On the channel, I recapped Growing the Big One, which is about, spoiler alert, growing the biggest pumpkin. And guess what? This is the same house. Incredible. Inside the house, Lacey clearly loves it. Brian, you guessed it, hates it. It's foggy for some reason, but I'm assuming they're like trying to show that it's dusty, but it's like straight up foggy.
I just feel like I belong here, you know?
That's great. I belong in New York. I'm late for a meeting.
Well, what are we gonna do about the house?
Are you kidding me? We're gonna sell it.
No, please.
Okay, what do you suggest?
What if I buy you out? Okay, not now, but eventually. You see, I have this dream of opening a restaurant, so I could revise that dream and I could turn this place into a bed and breakfast.
Well, I hope your breakfasts are great, because this house is the pits.
Look, I know you think I'm nuts, but this just feels like home.
Girlie is delusional. Feels like home after 5 seconds. Okay. He agrees to basically let her take control of the house, and she's gonna like renovate it and turn it into a Airbnb, and then she will eventually pay for like his half of the house. So he's really just like letting her do whatever she wants. Roll credits. Just kidding. We have an hour and 18 minutes left. Back at work, Lacey confronts the shitty boss and basically calls him out for being shitty, and she quits. And you know what? That's gotta feel good. But as she like storms out of the kitchen, he follows her.
What is it? You want a raise?
No, I'm moving to Bucks County and I'm opening a bed and breakfast.
It's not exactly a restaurant.
That's close enough. And you know what? Some B&Bs are actually known for their food.
A restaurant you can sleep in. How quaint.
Why are you always so hard on me?
Because I know how talented you are, Jenny, and I only want the best for you.
Oh, you could have said that a long time ago.
No one ever said it to me.
Well, they should have.
Well, it's about time you had your own kitchen. Chef.
That is a terrible thing to do.
What is?
Make me miss you.
Should we kiss? Back in Pennsylvania, Lacey is unpacking all of her stuff at the house. There's a goat. FYI, more on that later. Like, actually quite a bit more on that later. This is a plot-bearing goat. It's here, of course, we get a cleaning montage. She even dusts the desk, and I am positive this is the same desk from Growing the Big One. If you've watched that recap or you've watched that movie, you're gonna recognize a lot of this house and a lot of the furniture. I don't know if somebody at Hallmark owns this like set, or it's just a house that's like easily that you can rent it or something. I don't know, but it's basically the exact same thing. It's here she finds a romantic note to Emily, who was the old woman who originally owned the house, and the note is from Lester. More on that later. Anyway, Alice the neighbor comes by with homemade jams to like welcome Lacey to this house, to the neighborhood, and they of course need something to put the jams on. So literally in the next scene, Lacey makes them homemade croissants. Do you have any idea how long that would take? It doesn't matter. Also, I don't think the kitchen is clean yet. It doesn't matter. It's here we learn that Lacey's parents are dead. big rip. Lacey asks the neighbor, like, did you know Emily who owned the house? Do you know who Lester could be? And she says, don't know who Lester is. Didn't really know who Emily was. Apparently she was like kind of like a spinster. Like she just like lived in her house alone and didn't really like interact with anybody. Woman after my own heart. Lacey says she wants to start selling like her homemade baked goods to like various like cafes and stuff around town or like around the area so she can raise money while she fixes the house up into an Airbnb. Not an Airbnb, a B&B. A classic B&B. In the next scene, we see Lacey bringing in her homemade croissants and the like cafe server woman tries them and loves them, obviously. And she's like, of course we can try selling these.
Oh, I haven't seen him before.
Yeah. There are no available men in this town. If they have a paycheck and a pulse, they're already taken.
Hallmark loves to romanticize small towns, but if you've ever lived in one, you know, like this is a reality. Love interests in a small town, beggars can't be choosers. You either get a distant cousin, a pothead who lives at home and has no prospects, or a secret homosexual. There's nothing in between. Anyway, they talk about love and Lacey just like unloads her entire like dating history on this woman and talks about the ex-boyfriend and how they just broke up and that she kind of misses him, but she's like, maybe I just miss the idea of him.
Maybe you should call him.
You think?
What do I know?
What the fuck was that? What kind of face was that? Back at the dirty, rat-infested house, you know this abandoned house has some sort of critter inside of it. Anyway, she's cleaning in this beautiful cream-colored cardigan. Why would you ever wear this outfit? It doesn't matter. But it's here where she calls the ex-boyfriend from the beginning of the movie. They chit-chat about pointless stuff. It's awkward. And she says something like, I'm missing my truffle cutter. I don't suppose you've seen my truffle cutter? And he's like, no. And she's like, okay, I'll just keep an eye out for it. Okay, bye. That night, someone is trying to break into the house, which is literally my worst nightmare. A home intruder in the country. She's creeping down the stairs. She's terrified. Sidebar. This exact plot point happens in Growing the Big One in the same house, but whatever. This time, the intruder is Brian.
What are you doing here?
I took a cab from the station. I tried not to wake you, but I didn't have a key. So.
Wait, stop. What are you doing?
I'm moving in.
Oh no, enemies to lovers living in the same house? Whatever will they do? Basically, he explains that he's like a Wall Street guy and his Wall Street company had a deal, like a big deal that went south and the boss blamed Brian for it, even though it definitely wasn't his fault, and he got fired on the spot.
Jenny, I have no place to go. All right? And my stocks are tied up in a bonus I'm never going to see. Did you know that I only have $2,643 in my savings account? I used to blow that on a suit.
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not drunk. I don't drink. I'm dulls the mind. I haven't slept. I'm just so tired.
If you aren't familiar with these two, they genuinely work really well together. They're both very good at that like fluffy, cutesy chemistry, which is why they are in like a literal million Hallmark movies. And for me, after watching so many Hallmark movies or just bad movies in general, recapping them for the channel, to get one that has actual like fun, flirty, cute chemistry is honestly a goddamn miracle. Anyway, she's being like kind of a bitch about this whole thing. Like she's like, you can't live here. You can't even move here temporarily. Like, no. But he basically gave her the whole house to live out her dream of turning it into a B&B, and like, you can't let him stay. Like, that's the least you could do. Do you know what I mean?
You cannot move in here because we don't even know each other.
What are you talking about? It's temporary.
And temporary is too long.
Oh, you know what? I own half this house, okay? So why don't you stay on your half and I'll stay on my half, right?
You know what? I don't mean to be rude, but we don't exactly get along.
We'll just avoid each other.
Avoid each other? What about the kitchen?
It's mutual territory, right? We both gotta eat.
What about the bedrooms?
Not a problem. And you can have my half of the goat.
It was here I was kind of hoping that they would put like duct tape on the floor and like split the house in two. In the morning, we see Lacey working on her various like breakfast food items, baked goods. She's experimenting for what she'll bake for the B&B. Brian says he doesn't think it's gonna work out, but he says the baked goods are great. We get a lot of like huffing and like general annoyance here because we're still laying the groundwork for the enemies, right? Because the lovers is gonna come later. Brian's on the phone trying to get a job literally anywhere on Wall Street. It's very vague. He's trying to get a job, but basically nobody wants to even go near him because they all associate him with like the deal that went bad, even though it wasn't his fault. Lacey says like, yeah, that must be tough. Can you move all your shit because I'm trying to clean? So Brian's like, right, I'm gonna go for a run. Unfortunately, he's the type of runner that wears a fanny pack, which just is a big ick for me.
Oh, no. Whoa, hey, no, hey, no, don't do that, no, that's fine.
Oh, Gabby.
The goat's eating my resumes, come on.
Come here, Gabby.
Gabby,
Yeah, that's what I named her.
a girl with horns.
Also, how many fucking water bottles do you need?
Let's do this.
Come here, Gabby. Oh, no.
No, hey, no, you've had enough, you're full.
Come on, Gabby.
You find that funny?
Okay, Gabby, yes.
No, see this? Look at this. You didn't even bother to read it.
The goat is so round and fluffy, I want to die. But again, I say this is cute, they're cute, the goat is cute, the bar is well and truly that low. Back inside, the next repair that's needed is the plumbing. So basically they have no running water, which at this point I'm like, how is she making all those baked goods? How is she keeping that beautiful hair so beautiful? It doesn't matter. They have no clean running water, so they get this guy to come in and look at the sink.
Is it bad?
Yep.
How bad?
About $5,000.
Are you kidding me?
Nope.
$5,000? I don't have that kind of money to put into plumbing. Especially plumbing I never wanted in the first place. What do we... Oh, I forgot. We can't sell half a house, right? This place is not me. I belong in Wall Street, not Main Street. Do you know what happens when I have a problem in my place with my plumbing? I call a super. Do you understand that?
Nope.
It's a good shout. We should do this more often.
Later, they're trying to organize like who gets what, and Lacey's like, I can't be driving you around town all day. I'm a busy woman. So they agree that Brian is going to get the like old beat up pickup truck in the barn so he can have that car, and he's gonna go into town to buy all the needed items to fix the plumbing himself. We do get this shot of Gabby, which again, so round, so wonderful. He tries to get this literally like broken down truck working by simply turning it on, which I love that. He doesn't look under the hood. He doesn't do anything to it. He just turns it on. He tries to drive away. It of course dies a terrible, painful death. And then Brian is like screaming into the sky. We are all Brian. I'm screaming into the sky too. We see Lacey bringing in her croissants, and we do get a throwaway line here that she complains that she's been using the neighbor's kitchen to use their running water to bake. But it doesn't answer how she's washing her hair or getting all that makeup off every night. It doesn't matter. Back at the truck, a local hottie is looking at it, and he's basically like, you're gonna need an entire new engine, and Brian's like, I can't afford an engine. So he trades his watch so this guy will fix the truck. He finally gets into town outside the one store we're allowed to film in, and we see that horny old man again.
That thing looks as worn out as me.
Yeah, I used to take limos.
I used to be taller.
This is 2015, which I consider to be like the golden era of Hallmark. They're bad movies, okay. They're bad movies, but in this era, I find that they're usually like kind of cute and like usually pretty funny. Nowadays, Hallmark, honestly, it's grim. It is really grim. It's hard to find new Hallmark that is, I don't know, like this is still a bad movie, but this is like genuinely pretty cute and funny on purpose, not like you're laughing at it, but that was not the intended purpose. Do you know what I mean? We learned that the giant plumber man is actually the owner of the general store as well, paying less actors. But Brian confesses to him that he's gonna try and fix the plumbing himself, even though that he doesn't know what he's doing. And the owner, the giant man, Tommy, provides him with advice and helps him. So even though they were like kind of enemies earlier, by the end of this scene, they're very buddy-buddy. We love male friendships. We get the classic scene of Brian under the sink, and you know it, he gets sprayed in the face. You saw that coming, but I love it.
When will the water be back on?
I don't know, sometime next year.
After gardening in the dark for some reason, Lacey comes back inside.
Aha! Go on. I dare you. Turn the water on. How about that?
Your plumbing is so musical.
Figured you could sing along while doing the dishes. So I finally got the braided flex line to connect to the angle stop.
A city boy speaks plumbing.
Well, it's plumb or perish, right? Isn't that what you said?
We love male friendships. Let's hear it for the boys. Back at the coffee shop, we learned that Lacey's croissants are doing really well. They're selling really well, even though the townspeople didn't know what croissants are. Literally. The couple is complaining. We're still in the enemies section. They're complaining about what color to paint the outside of the house. She wants yellow, he wants blue, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. But they come to a compromise and they're going to combine their colors to make green. So glad that's sorted. We see them painting the exterior of this house, which would honestly take so long. This house is huge and you know what's coming. We get the classic scene of them like paint fighting, like throwing paint on each other, and we start to get that sexual tension. Let's go! I know this is juvenile and this scene is such a trope, but honestly, after watching so many bad Hallmark movies where the chemistry either doesn't exist or it's like actively like hateful, like they clearly hate each other, watching this and actually getting cute, fun, sexual tension chemistry, I'm willing to overlook most things. Later, we see Brian on the phone with his friend in New York, New York business guy, and Brian's giving him some advice, but he's still not getting any job offers because nobody wants to like work with him.
Look, Harry, I heard that there might be an opening at JP.
In your dreams, but I will let you know if anything real comes up.
Look.
What was that?
Gabby? Knock it off, sweetie.
Who's Gabby?
That would be the goat.
There's a goat you know well enough to name?
Yeah.
It's here we start to get the long looks. So we've kind of started to move out of enemies and very slowly into our lovers section. Without the sex, obviously, this is still Hallmark. There's no sex before marriage. We see them working in the kitchen that doesn't look haunted anymore, and Lacey's basically explaining like, I'm not earning enough by just selling a couple croissants to the bakery or to the cafe. Like, I need more money to be able to renovate the B&B properly, renovate the house. And Brian's like, businessman guy, right? He's like, you gotta think bigger. Let's make up a label. Let's get these out to like distributors and vendors. Like, think bigger than just a little cafe. She agrees, and immediately, like the next scene says that she has a meeting with a big distributor about her like baked goods. Don't worry about the fact that she has no like certified kitchen or like food safety certificates to make these baked goods and sell them at scale. Don't worry about it. Brian gives her a pep talk before she goes off to this big meeting, and he's like, just be yourself, you can do it. At one of the new cafes that she's gonna try, like selling the baked goods, okay, pause. We did get this big thing about, oh, you should go with distributors and like vendors and like get your stuff out there, which does happen, but for some reason she's still meeting with like cafes and stuff, whatever. Honestly, the business element of this movie is the least of our worries. So at one of these cafes, she's talking with the owner guy, and he's really shit and he doesn't want her baked goods.
If you could just try a sample.
Not gonna happen.
I sold Avon to put myself through college. This is really good.
Thank you.
Let's get some.
Done?
How much are they?
Is she your shill?
She's my new best friend.
The owner relents and says like, I'll take a dozen of each flavor and we'll see what sells.
You know, I'm opening a B&B. If you're ever in Danfield, breakfast is on me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Women support women. I love it. She calls Brian home to tell him the good news. He's like, I'm so proud of you. Like, get home soon. And then he does like this little dance in the kitchen, and I love it. Like I said before, these two are good at what they do. Hallmark movies are categorically bad. I don't say that to like offend people who like these movies. They're not deep, they're not complex, they are usually very poorly written, and many of them are the exact same. But give them a main couple that has like good chemistry and they're flirty and there's like that sexual tension, and you have such a better time, a more fun time, and you're willing to overlook the many, many plot holes and the many, many tropes because you have this like fun chemistry. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of like what Hallmarks are supposed to be, right? They're just, it's fluffy, and it's fun, and it's comforting. Back at home, they're having breakfast with the neighbor, Alice, and she says to Lacey, like, you can pick your fresh fruit from her berries or whatever, sure. But it's here she makes an offhand comment about Lacey and Brian, like, being together, and they're like, no, 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 we're just friends.
Can I get you some more coffee?
Sure.
Great.
Your preserves are delicious.
A singing sink.
You should hear the toilet.
Later, Brian picks up the phone and it's the ex-boyfriend calling, but he doesn't say anything and he hangs up. Like, maybe he misdialed. So he calls back again. It's like, no, this is the right number, and he talks to Brian. He's quite shitty because, of course, we're supposed to like the ex-boyfriend less than our new love interest. So he's shitty to Brian, and he's basically like, get Lacey to call me when she comes back, and hangs up. Later, Brian tells Lacey like, hey, this guy called for you, passes the message off to her. He's obviously intrigued about like who this man is, but he doesn't ask. Lacey calls him back and explains like who Brian is, and she's like, no, I'm not seeing him. He owns half of the house. And the ex-boyfriend is like, I miss you. And she's like, I miss you too. And of course, Brian hears this conversation and is sad about it. I'm just annoyed because once again, shoes in the house. This is like a reoccurring segment on all these recaps. I fucking hate when people wear outside shoes in their home, especially on these ones where like they live on a farm. We are in farmland and you are wearing your outdoor shoes in the house. I hate it. There is literal animal feces on the bottom of your shoes that you're bringing into your kitchen where you are baking croissants to sell to strangers. Later, they're still cleaning and decorating. It goes on for literally ever, but Lacey can't open one of the windows.
I think the window is stuck.
Step aside.
Time for a man to take care of this.
Okay. I mean, obviously, I've mastered plumbing. I think it's time for me to take a hard look at carpentry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
What are you apologizing to the window pane for? I'm the one who just blew out a disc.
I feel really bad for it.
Okay.
Later in town, Brian is looking for more tools. He's talking with Tommy, the giant, and it kind of comes out like maybe he has a crush on Lacey, but Brian thinks the man on the phone is her boyfriend, and Tommy's like, you know, you gotta tell her how you feel before it's too late. We love men supporting men. We then get a delightful mishap where Brian is trying to fix the railing on the porch, and you guessed it, he falls off the porch. Oh my God, crazy time. And Lacey comes to help him, and nothing really happens here. We're just trying to kill time. But by the evening, the railing is fixed. Great. They get cuddled up on the porch on this like swinging bench thing, and we get a little bit of exposition here that Brian's like starting to like the country, you know, this Wall Street guy starting to like the country, and you know, they just look at each other a bit more. We are well and truly into the lovers section of this movie. When they're having breakfast the next day, they're sitting at a different table than normal, and the table wobbles. And so Brian's like, I'm gonna fix this. He's getting into carpentry. He's like, I'm gonna fix this. He saws the leg down, and then we see them eating at the table again, and it still wobbles, so Brian's gonna fix it.
All right, let me try this one more time, okay? Whoa, just hold steady. Let me try it one more time. Come on.
If it gets any lower, we're gonna
What?
have to sit on the floor.
I will admit I'm having a very good time. And I didn't know I would ever know how to do that. So thank you.
Sure.
Later, we see the boyfriend pull up. It's time for like this awkward, weird love triangle situation. Lacey comes out and they hug, and it's all very awkward. He actually explains his feelings with words, which is like emotional intelligence in a Hallmark movie. But he says like, I was jealous when this man picked up the phone, and I miss you, and I love you, and I want us to be together. Like, he uses his words, which is crazy. He wants them to get back together, but he clearly thinks the country and like the country lifestyle and the house is kind of gross. And Lacey sees that. They say goodbye, and she explains to Brian, like, yes, they were dating, but now, like, they're not really dating, and she doesn't really know what's going to happen. Great. Back at the general store, Brian is telling Tommy, like, what happened. I love that his first instinct when anything happens is he goes to the general store and he tells Tommy. The only other actor that we actually give lines to, the mechanic man, is there, and he's like, you gotta marry her before it's too late. And nothing really happens from this scene. We have entered the killing time era of these movies. We're basically just waiting until we get the classic Hallmark miscommunication, which usually happens like 15 minutes from the end. Moving along, we need another scene to kill time. So we learn that Gabby is missing. Lacey is upset because she can't find Gabby, and so Brian's like, I'll go out with you, we'll look for her, and they're running around in the dark with fucking the British are coming ass lanterns. They find Gabby just chilling out in the wilderness somewhere, just hanging out, but we get the sense like something's wrong, so Brian scoops her up and carries her back to the farm. They bring the neighbor woman over, and she's like, there's nothing you can do. Gabby's gonna have babies. Yes, baby goats. And here I ask, pregnant by whom? Literally nobody else has goats. We have not seen a single goat in this movie aside from Gabby, but surprise, she's pregnant. Honestly, some of the shots of the goat are so cute that they almost look fake. Like it's some sort of like plump animatronic thing. Like this goat is just adorable. And then the next scene, baby goats. Thankfully, no blood or gore, just two perfectly pristine baby goats. Again, we are in the killing time section of this movie. All right, but at least it's cute. I've certainly seen worse. Then we're back inside the farmhouse. They're sanding. They're still working on the house. We get some like long looks at each other. They bump into each other and it's like, ooh, should we kiss? Not yet. Then we see what they've created. They've made like these like pantry shelves, but instead of doors, they've used these like curtain things, but I don't know. I think this is kind of ugly. Not my vibe. Then they're having dinner by candlelight because something happened with the fuse box. Like Brian blew the fuse or whatever. It literally doesn't matter. They're having dinner and Brian's sort of talking more about himself and about his family, and his dad left when he was a kid, and then when the stepfather came in, he was basically like shipped off to boarding school, and then Wall Street, blah, blah, blah. We get more long looks at each other, but again, nothing happens. At this point, we almost almost have exactly 30 minutes left. And we're just trying to drag this shit out. We see them laying in bed that night. Separate beds, because this is Hallmark. And they both get rained on somehow. You know this house has an attic, so the water is coming through the attic and dripping directly onto their individual beds. It doesn't matter. They both go out into the hallway at the exact same time. You know where this is going. They lean in and we're all like, oh my God, are they gonna kiss? Yes! We finally get a kiss. Just one though. Again, this is Hallmark. One is pornographic enough. Then I guess they go back to their individually wet beds. The next day, Lacey is off for a meeting with a big distributor. Finally, you know, we had that scene about like selling her baked goods like to like a big company. We finally have that meeting. They say, let's talk about what happened when Lacey gets back. Back at the house, Brian gets a call from his New York friend who was like, guess what? I've got a job offer for you. But Brian is conflicted because, you know, he obviously has feelings about Lacey. He doesn't really want to go back to the big city. And he's like kind of confused about what to do. And the friend is pissed because he like pulled a bunch of strings because still nobody really wants to deal with Brian. But the friend pulled through, got him his job offer, is angry that Brian doesn't immediately want it. And he says, I need an answer by the end of today. Then we jump to Lacey and she gets a call from the ex-boyfriend. And the ex-boyfriend says, I need to see you. I need to talk to you. I can be at the local coffee shop in an hour. Great. Here we are setting up that classic Hallmark miscommunication. I wonder what it'll be. We see Brian go back to the general store and he runs into that horny old man who seemingly lives on that bench.
Hey, what happened to that pickup truck of yours?
It wouldn't start.
That's what happens when you get old.
Okay, Grandpa, fuck it out. Because something happened in Brian's life and he has to tell Tommy about it, that's why he's there, right? So he goes into the general store and he tells Tommy everything that's happened. He's got this job offer. It's what he's always wanted, but now he's not sure because he cares about Lacey. They shake hands and then he's off again.
Have a good one.
Yeah, I always do. I wonder what he meant.
What does that even mean? Should I be calling someone? As Brian is walking back to the farmhouse, here it comes. He sees Lacey and the ex-boyfriend at the coffee shop. A surprise to literally no one. And the ex-boyfriend proposes like a literal crazy man. And you guessed it, Brian sees. But obviously, Brian can't hear what Lacey is saying, and Lacey rejects him. She says she's starting to have feelings for Brian. It's not right for them to get back together, let alone to be engaged. She doesn't think that they were meant to be. All the while, the waitress watches them from like literally 6 inches away. Love that.
I hope he knows how lucky he is.
Is it normal to kiss like that after a rejected proposal? Because that kind of felt weird. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Then we see Lacey meeting with that big distributor company place and they love her baked goods, they want to sell her products. Yay! Do they know that she's making them out of a tiny kitchen with no certification? It doesn't matter. Back at home we see Brian pacing around, you know, he thinks that they just got engaged and he's like really upset and he doesn't know what to do. And of course, rather than wait for Lacey to come home, he calls up the friend and takes the job. I think we all saw that coming, but who cares? We're here now, and we're here together. Like a crazy person, he gets all his luggage on the front lawn before Lacey even gets home. Bit dramatic. And she's like, what's going on? And Brian's like, I accepted a new job in New York and I'm leaving. End of story. And then he leaves in a taxi and Lacey's just like, what the fuck? The next day, Lacey is trying out recipes for the girlies and she says to them like, I really miss Brian, but I'm excited for the inspection for the B&B next week.
Look at all you've accomplished. In such a short time, I couldn't be more proud of you if you were my daughter.
My boss is about to retire. Maybe I should try and buy the coffee shop.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
tired of waiting around for a man I might never meet. I'm gonna make my own happily ever after.
I'll drink to that.
Hello.
You inspired me.
Cheers.
Oh my god, did this just pass the Bechdel test? Technically, they were just talking about men, but you know what? Women supporting women in the Hallmark cinematic universe? Hell yeah. In New York, we see business Brian in his new office. He's on fire. He's getting new clients. He's skipping lunch. No. Don't ever skip lunch. He does mention Lacey to his New York friend, and the friend is like, literally, shut up. It's like, there's so many other women in New York City, get over it. Which honestly, kind of fair. Back at the farm, Lacey is getting that inspection for the B&B by a man who I believe is perfectly casted for a weird little inspection guy. She's really nervous, obviously, so she gives him some of her baked goods, which he loves, of course, because Lacey is wonderful and she can do no wrong. After inspecting one room, he says that she's passed. Yay! Let's get this over with. She goes off to the general store, which is shot for once, but she finds, yes, you guessed it, that horny old man on the bench again. And it was at this point where I honestly thought, is this like a ghost situation? Like, is this person even real? She talks to him for a bit and she mentions that she's trying to open this B&B in Emily's old house, and he says, oh, Emily would have loved that. And in a surprise to literally no one, this horny old homeless man is Lester. No, actually. That's what I thought was gonna happen, but Hallmark actually surprised me with this one. This old man is actually Lester's younger brother. So we learned that Lester actually died in the war, and nobody knew about Lester and Emily's relationship except the younger brother, aka this old homeless man. And after Lester died, Emily basically hid herself away in grief. She never got over it, and that's how she became this like loner homebody, which is actually sad. But he basically like insinuates it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Hint, hint, you should go after those that you love while you still can. Do you get the hints that we are dropping? But honestly, let's just fucking hurry this up. While Brian is in an important business meeting, because he is an important businessman, Lacey calls and he actually takes the call, even though the business people are annoyed, and he goes out into the hallway to speak to her. He asks about the goats and he says that he's really happy to hear her voice. And here I'm thinking like, okay, here comes the love declaration, right? She's taking the advice from the horny old man.
Premium Natural Foods has given me an advance, and I think it's enough to buy you out if I can do it in installments.
Yeah, great.
I've spoken with some local real estate agents to find out exactly what the house is worth.
You know, whatever you think is fair is fine.
Were you surprised? Because I was actually surprised. He's obviously sad, but he says he'll drive up tomorrow to sign all the documents. Even though it's Friday and he's a big businessman and he's supposed to be working, he'll make it work. Great. Hold on, folks. We have 8 minutes left. Yes, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Brian drives up early, and to kill time, he goes to the coffee shop, the only other place we're allowed to film inside. And he's gonna kill some time there, and we see the like coffee server woman, and she's pissed at him.
All right, look, Casey, what's wrong?
Men.
Okay, then, all of them or just me?
Jenny turns down her old boyfriend when he proposes because she's falling in love with you. And then you just go off on your merry way and you leave her behind.
Are you sure about this?
Yes, I'm sure.
And how do you know?
Because I was standing right there when it happened. It was at this table, Brian.
Okay, thank you, Casey.
For what? What, a $20 tip for a cup of coffee?
No. You're making me the happiest man in the world. Excuse me.
Let's fucking go! no! We see Stout, Gabby, and the baby goats who are absolutely shitting in that house. Brian explains that the coffee shop woman explained the rejected proposal and that Brian misses her and he wants to come home, and I'm crying. They don't kiss, which is annoying, but they do go inside. I guess we're only allowed 2 kisses per movie, so hold on. Then it's night and Lacey is doing like a trial run of the B&B. We see some of the like characters that we know. The shitty old chef, like head chef guy, is there and he tries Lacey's food and loves it. Obviously. We see Brian's New York friend and Tommy the Giant are there and they're like, wow, Lacey can cook so good and she's pretty. Propose. And I'm like, maybe they should date first. But no, this is the Hallmark Cinematic Universe and they really do mean propose, which he does in front of everyone, and I hate this. I love them together. I do not think they should be getting engaged right now, but I find like proposals in front of a crowd so awkward. It's here they kiss. We get our second kiss in front of everybody watching. I hate it. And before we fade to black, now in a normal Hallmark movie, they would kiss and we would fade to black. But no, we then get some like mindless chatter with the guests and stuff about how like, ooh, they're all invited to the wedding. And then we fade to black. This is because this movie is actually the beginning of a trilogy, The Lord of the Rings. The next movie I think is about the wedding. So a whole hour and 24 minutes about the wedding. And then there's another movie about about the B&B. But those will have to wait for another day. As with all Hallmark recaps, we have 3 categories: chemistry, plot, and overall enjoyment. So for chemistry, this has to be a 5 out of 5. This is what Hallmark chemistry should be like. It's fluffy, it's cute, there's like some sexual tension, no notes. For plot, the fact that this house is left to 2 separate unrelated people is pretty stupid, but like, okay, I guess 3 out of 5. We've seen better, we've seen worse, it's just fine. For overall enjoyment, I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 because the chemistry is so good and the main couple are so good together. Plus, that goat, there's something about that goat who is probably a nightmare to film with, but it is so round and perfect. 5 out of 5. If you want to see how bad chemistry can truly be, definitely check out this one. This has Lacey and another man, and they actively hate each other. The chemistry is so uncomfortable. It's wild. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye!